Hi, so you're thinking about moving to Folsom. Well, today we're going to go over exactly that, the pros and cons about Folsom, the proximity of Folsom to downtown Sacramento and to the airport, and all the good stuff about shopping, schools, employment in Folsom, and definitely also the housing development and recreation. So if you're thinking about moving to Folsom in the next week, in the next month, or in the next year, just give us a call. And if this is the first time for you here at our channel, please make sure you subscribe and you click the bell for reminders and updates. So as we update the area videos, so you will be the first one to actually experience the updates by being notified. So with that, let's jump into Folsom. Folsom is a very nice community on the way to Tahoe on the northeast side of downtown Sacramento. So if I scroll out here, actually all of this is Folsom, if you can see it. And the cool thing about Folsom is there's so much to do. But about this, we're going to go in a little bit later. I just wanted to show you real quick. This, by the way, here, this is a nice picture of Old Town Folsom, what it looks like. And also we're going to go over this in a little bit later. But here is Folsom is, like I said, on the northeast side of Sacramento. If you're driving from Folsom to, let's say, downtown Sacramento, it will probably take you about, I would say, 30 minutes. With traffic and without traffic. With traffic, it will actually take you a little bit longer than that. If we're going to Sacramento downtown, you can see this is going to take you exactly 32 minutes right now. It's about noon on a weekday, so this is definitely very realistic. However, during the rush hour time, you will probably look at a little bit more than that. I would say 45 minutes. If we go actually to the Sacramento airport, which is just on the north side of Sacramento International Airport, if you're checking this out, should take you about 45 minutes. Here we go, about 41 minutes. Basically, you'll take Highway 50 all the way down through Sacramento, the downtown corridor, up I-5, and then airport is right up here on the north side of Sacramento. With that, let's go jump into what's cool about Folsom. First of all, we have two high schools. Let me point those out. Let me take this off. And we're going to go back to Folsom. And then we're also obviously going to talk about the neighborhoods. But we have two high schools. One is Folsom High, and the other one is Vista del Lago. Vista del Lago is a newer one. If you are into football, this is probably one of the most competitive football programs here in our area. Folsom High is consistently playing for the state championships, and they actually, I think they just won the state championships again. And then we have the second high school, which is over here. It's called Vista del Lago. Let me zoom in a little bit. It's right here. Second high school. And then since we are on high schools, there will be definitely another high school coming at some point, just because, let me zoom out here, there is a lot of, and let me point this out here with my thing, there's a lot of new development going on right here. This is called Folsom Ranch. Most of it, there's a little portion up here that's called a little bit different. And there would be about 10,000 rooftops here over the next 10 to 13, 15 years. We're about 3-5 years into the development itself. So you will definitely find that I had high school right here, some additional shopping and things like that. As far as schools in general, this is in the Folsom Cordova School District. and those schools rank A plus on niche.com if you want to check it out for yourself. Another important thing is, as I'm looking here at the map, I want to point out the hospital. Mercy Hospital is one of the hospitals out here. You have the major healthcare providers like Sutter and UC Davis. They all have urgent care centers, and I have a friend that's in the development department of the city of Folsom, and he's telling me that there is Kaiser is coming, and UC Davis just recently purchased some land. So there's definitely some additional healthcare providers, maybe even hospitals coming to the Folsom area. Can't promise that, of course, but that's what's in the works if you want. Mercy Hospital is probably a hospital you would go if you need emergency services or basic hospital services. If you need major services, you would definitely probably want to go down to, let me get rid of this. You would definitely want to go down to Sacramento. In fact, I just heard on the news yesterday that UC Medical Hospital, which is right down here in this area, is here along I-80, the business corridor. Let me point it out real quick in case you can't see my mouse. It's probably right here somewhere. That would be number one hospital in the Sacramento area, and I think the number 6 hospital in all of California. So excellent healthcare out here. As far as housing goes, I want to go dig a little deeper into that in a little bit. I just want to tell you a little bit more about what else there is. So Folsom is also known for its excellent recreation. We have Folsom Lake right here, which is fed by the North and the South Fork of the American River. Great boating. You have water sports there. You can hike around the lake. You can swim in the lake. There is beaches up here in the northern part around Granite Bay. If I point this out right here, where there's actually sandy beaches and things like that. This actually flows out this dam right here. It's probably right here actually, and then the dam, and then flows right out here into another lake which is called Lake Natoma. Lake Natoma is a very quiet lake, pretty shallow, and you can do paddle boarding. There's no power, no jet skis, none of that. So it's sailing, paddle boarding, open water swimming, things like that. In fact, the fun fact, the Sacramento State University has their rowing team is practicing here, and there's occasionally, I think when they were talking about the Olympics coming to the Northern California and San Francisco, they were considering putting the rowing competition here onto Lake Natoma. We are also in very close proximity, which a lot of people don't know, to Coloma. Coloma is right here, if I can point this out, and yes, you guessed it. That's where the California Gold Rush started in the mid-1800s. So super exciting stuff to do, whether you want to be hiking, whether you want to be mountain biking. There's the Amgen, which is, I call it the the California Tour de France, if you want. Oftentimes has stages going through El Dorado Hills and Folsom. In particular, Folsom had some of the time tryouts and things like that. Very exciting if you're into that stuff. As far as shopping goes, I want to point out a few things here. Let me zoom in a little bit. So we have down here in the Folsom area, let me go down along 50 a little bit. I'm sorry. So if you're looking right here, we have the Folsom Premium Outlets. A lot of people like coming here because they're on their way to Lake Tahoe, or they don't like the Vacaville outlets. I mean, obviously there's a bunch of outlets throughout Northern California, but this is one of the outlets that people like to go to. As far as additional shopping is, we have a mall. It's called the Palladio Shopping Center right here. You have the normal shopping is you have White House Black Market for the women. We have outdoor amphitheater for summer concert series. We have a bunch of restaurants. My favorite one is a Greek restaurant. It's called Petros. If you like Greek food, right across from it is a Buckhorn barbecue, where you can get really good barbecue meat and things like that. We have a local chain actually that's called Chicago Fire, that you can have pizza and other things there. And then there is a Brazilian steakhouse there. It is not Fogo de Chão, and I just want to preface that. So it's not comparable, in my opinion, to Fogo de Chão. But if you're into Brazilian steakhouse, you don't have to go all the way to San Francisco. Which brings me to another thing. If you are into Major League sports, obviously San Francisco is not very far. We are about, I would say, an hour and a half without, but that hardly ever happens really. It will take you 2 hours in the middle of the day. And there's different ways to do it. This is probably the way people would go. If you go into San Francisco, right here, of course, is down by Fisherman's Wharf is the baseball park. And then if you wanted to go to Santa Clara, where the football is about to start again, we can do that too. And then that's where the 49ers are playing right here. So that would also take about 2.5 hours. With traffic, I would probably say 3 hours. So you're within reasonable distance to Major League sporting events. And of course, if you don't want to drive all the way to San Francisco for Major League sports, we have a local Major League basketball team here in Sacramento, the Sacramento Kings. They just relocated actually 4 or 5 seasons ago to a downtown arena. Prior to that, they were up and out in the suburbs, and now they get to play at the Golden One Center, which is downtown. We're going to actually overlay a little bit here of Doco. Doco is the downtown commons. There's a lot of restaurants. There's a hotel. A lot of things to do. Actually, in fact, we can look here right now. There's also Il Fornaio, which is one of the restaurants I was just referring to. That's upper-scale Italian restaurant. And then Doco Al Fresco, that's the plaza that will give you some additional footage here that we're popping in. But that takes you about, like I said at the very beginning, 30 minutes without traffic. And when the game starts, it's typically right after rush hour. So I would say about 45 minutes from Folsom all the way down to downtown Sacramento to enjoy not just Major League basketball, but definitely also you can, there's a lot of events. I think Paul McCartney actually did the opening event at the Golden One Center. So big names coming to the area. And we actually just saw Journey at the Golden One Center, which was really fun. So a lot of things really going for Sacramento. And being out in Folsom, you don't have to deal with all the downtown stuff, and you can choose to go there when you want. Sacramento itself has a soccer team, which is a minor league soccer team, and they're doing pretty well, actually. In fact, they are playing today in the semifinals for the U.S. Open Cup, and they are hopefully going to win. We'll see. We'll find out. So going back to Folsom, though, I want to point out a few other things as far as neighborhoods go. There is one of the neighborhoods is called Broadstone. Broadstone is the #1 neighborhood in Folsom to raise a family. If you can see, I'm going to go back here and I'm going to close this out. Broadstone is a little choppy, right? So at the beginning, when Broadstone first was developed, homes were developed in the late 90s, early 2000s. This area right here was the one that got developed. In fact, Renee and I bought our very first house here in Folsom. My favorite store was Home Depot, because that it's right here. So that store I went a lot to, and because when you buy a new house, there's a lot of things to do, and especially when you're putting a backyard in. So Broadston then later got developed over here to the left, and then later then over here up on the north side of, but this is East Bidwell, this main street here. This will take you from one end of Folsom to the other. It's right here. It's pretty long, always congested. But this northern part here there's some gated parts of the of Broadstone, but down here there is nothing gated, and except the Bentley Square. I should take this back. So here you have an HOA, and here you have an HOA, and over here you have no HOA anywhere, and it's not gated. As far as other neighborhoods go, you have like here, let me go here, the Parkway. The Parkway is an HOA, but it's not gated. You can find homes that were built also in the early 2000s to 2010, I would say. And across the way, we have Empire Ranch, which is right here. And there's a golf course associated with it as well. You can see it right there. Let me put it in real quick. Empire Ranch golf course. And talking of golf, there is so much golf in our area. It's really awesome if you're into golf right here. There, and then so you have the areas up here and down here, the Empire Ranch. If you're going from Broadstone all the way East Bidwell, you're going past the older part of Folsom. You have the Steve Miklas Aquatic Center. Steve was a former mayor. And then if you can continue here, and then over here, and this will take you down to what is called Sutter Street. Sutter Street is the main, let me see if I can find you a picture. Sutter Street, Folsom, California. This is where Old Town Folsom is. It's probably one of the best kept secrets in the area. If you're not familiar with Folsom, you have a lot of boutiques, a little bit of retail. You have quite a few restaurants, and this is really where it's happening. And the cool thing about it, there's really old historic homes down here. If we go here to the Folsom Hotel Folsom, maybe we got there. This is perfect, right? So this is how it looks like down there. And like I said, Renee's down there right now to take some footage. You will go to the Hacienda. That's right here, Mexican food. We have the Powerhouse Pub. That's where the local events are happening as far as live music. There's people like the Spasmatics were here just recently, for instance. So the river comes down here, and that's where it starts, Lake Natoma, and it goes all the way down here, and then it widens up a little bit. And like I said, there is so much stuff to do. It's really, really cool when you are into outdoor activities and things like that. Another fun fact, there is the Nimbus Dam right here. And at the Nimbus Dam, we have a fish hatchery and a salmon ladder, because the salmon will come from the Pacific Ocean. They will come up here, and then they will lay their eggs right here in this area. So then, as far as employment, I told you earlier about, we have a big Intel campus here, FM5, that's one of the buildings, and that's a big employer in the Folsom area, and with that comes a lot of other tech that feeds into that sector. And then another big sector in Folsom is also healthcare. Healthcare is also pretty dominant, like I said earlier. And then as far as the regular shopping goes, we have a Whole Foods. I guess not everybody can say they have a Whole Foods, but we do. And of course, we have a Costco. Why is it not showing right now? There should be a picture coming up. There we go. There's our Costco. One of Renee's favorite stores in the same shopping center as Whole Foods is Kirkland's home. They have great things when it comes down to decorating your new home once you're moving here. And then one other thing that I had not mentioned yet, we have a community college, which is called the Folsom Lake College, which is also wonderful. If you do not want to go to a four-year track, you can go ahead and start with the JC and then transfer into the state universities. Okay, guys, so let's talk about food. There is a bunch of restaurants out there, and you name it, you'll probably find it. From traditional American to Italian. I already talked about the Greek restaurant and the barbecue. We have great sushi, things like that. So I want to just talk about two of my favorite restaurants, really. One of which is Visconti's. And for those that don't know, I'm originally from Germany, so I grew up with a lot of authentic Italian food. And I gotta say, if we're going here to Visconti's, and we were just there last night, that is probably one of the most authentic Italian food you can find. The Visconti's been in Folsom ever since I've known Folsom for the last 20 plus years. They since moved locations, but Italian food at its best. If you want to go just in the same shopping center, actually, you can go to Land Ocean. Land Ocean is exactly that. It has meat and it has fish, so land and ocean, of course, makes sense. In fact, they have a great happy hour, and Renee, if you follow us here, you'll find out soon that she loves happy hour. So great food here, and then you have the traditional chains like BJ's Restaurant, you have the Jack's Urban Eats, you have the Five Guys, you have another local Mexican restaurant here, which is called Zocalo. They had their first location down in East Sacramento, and actually Midtown, I would say, and they just recently opened a location here in the Folsom area as well. And then there is, if you are into sushi, and my oldest one is into sushi, we got to go down here a little bit on this main thoroughfare that I had talked about earlier, which is called East Bidwell. And right over here in this corner, you will see Mikuni's. Mikuni just recently, a couple years ago, opened this location. They started out a little bit further down the road with one restaurant. They have now multiple restaurants in the Sacramento area, and Folsom is proud to have one of those restaurants. Very upscale sushi if you like sushi. All right. With that, if there's any questions about Folsom, we're going to do a few additional pieces on Folsom. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call. And again, if you're moving from, oh, and look who's coming in. There's Renee.
Hello.
And she can't, maybe here.
Hello.
So I told him you were just down in Folsom to do some footage of Sutter Street and things like that.
Absolutely.
And all the neighborhoods. So you showed, you went to Broadstone too, right?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you go to Empire Ranch?
I did not.
But you went to the Parkway, right?
Yes.
So we talked about the Parkway, and then I was just telling him about the Folsom Community College. So if you don't want to go to a four-year track.
Yeah, Folsom College is really good, and they've got a great art center up there too, the Harris Center. Did you talk about the Harris Center?
Of course I did not.
Okay, good. Always trying to add some value.
Yeah, exactly. So I talked a lot, probably more than I should have, but I'm so excited that Renee came in here at the end, and we'll do more. And then if you're moving in, what did we say, typically in a week, in a month?
In a year.
Oh, in a year.
We're here to help.
Yeah, exactly. Give us a call, subscribe to the channel if this is the first time at the channel. Also click that little bell for reminders. And then was there anything else?
No, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, take care. And so thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.